Now, today's news is a big confirmation for me and many others in the community probably as well too, in HSBC becoming the first bank in the world to tokenize gold. This is the step in the right direction, and the direction that we're trying to head towards is a new level playing field, a new financial system. Everything will be tokenized, and everything will be represented through some sort of NFT, some sort of token on DLT technology. Does XRP get all the money? Not necessarily, but we want to be prepared for that. And we continue to see that Ripple plays their role in helping hundreds, and by the time this story is done, probably thousands of banks and institutions and governments tokenize gold and other assets on DLT. So today, we're going to delve into the relationships between HSBC and Ripple going back years. We got the news yesterday that the National Bank of Georgia becomes the 6th central bank digital currency announcement on top of the private version of the XRPL that Ripple created, right? Their award-winning CBDC platform. It's a private version of the XRPL, but remember, make sure you understand at any point in time, you can bring that interoperability back to XRP mainnet, settling up with XRP. That's no problem. But what's so exciting about today's news is it comes on the back of an economy that is falling apart. We're going to go through the economic data. We got a big miss on the jobs here today. Now they're going to tout that we are still adding jobs, but if you look, the devil's in the details, and it's part-time. It's, people getting their second and third job just to make ends meet. So we got to break down and decode the economic data, and then we roll into the research that we've been doing on this company Ripple, the partnerships with banks like HSBC, and this has been going on for years. Now we're finally starting to see it come to fruition, and it's very exciting. Let's get right on into this episode. By the way, guys, everything else is at my website, ZachRector.com. Let's roll. So right now, cryptocurrency, 34,788 for Bitcoin, back below 35,000 for Bitcoin. Ethereum at 1813. And the market has ticked up here slightly just within the last little bit here. XRP back up to 61 cents. Let's take a look at our charts. See this 4-hour candle that we just got, Bitcoin bouncing off of basically 34,100. Now we're back up, and that has happened just within this 4-hour candle right here, which actually we just started a new 4-hour candle right here. So we're going to be watching this one. The market bouncing up here to finish off the day. XRP back up to 61 cents. Absolutely love to see it. We topped out at basically 62.5 cents. That was yesterday. And we get the DXY slaughtered today. Absolutely love to see it. DXY down 1% today, breaking down. It just slammed through that 106 level. Remember yesterday back down to 106, and it broke through, moved sideways to finish off the day, and now to open up this new day of trading, we are back below. We are down to 105 and getting ready to break below 105 for that DXY, which is why we're seeing Bitcoin climb, which is why we're seeing XRP climb, which is why we're seeing silver pump. How about that little candle to wake up on a Friday morning? And we've been seeing this, right? The past couple weeks, we've been seeing gold, silver, and Bitcoin all rally into the weekend. Same thing for gold, back up above 2,000 this morning, cooling off to 1992 right now. A little bit of volume volatility coming in, but gold back above 2,000, silver back above 23, and the DXY down. Now, we are seeing that the oil is kind of just moving sideways right now, and I think a lot of this is based off the uncertainty around the war, right? The uncertainty around the war led us up to about $95 per barrel earlier this month, but we've since kind of cooled off, and we're trading at $86 per barrel. That's for your Brent, UK Brent crude oil worldwide benchmark. Okay. But we see that the US 2-year gets killed today. Big hit on the US 2-year along with the 10-year, back down to 4.54. So big hit on the 2-year and the 10-year. We see that the stocks are rallying right now. Nvidia back up to 446. So, got to give Nvidia credit. Got to give the stock bros some credit here. They're getting a little bit of a pump. S&P 500 back above 4,361, and your Dow Jones breaking above 34,000 just now as well. So we're watching this thing trade right now. Overall cryptocurrency market cap ticking back up again slightly, and we will continue to watch this one. Bitcoin back up in the last 4 hours here to start off our Friday morning. I'm recording this one. It's 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and let's get right on into this update for you guys. Now, Starting off here, folks, this shows you the situation, and this shows you why you're going to see more pressure on those bonds, is because countries that are in significant financial trouble are going to have to offload their bonds to cover their shortfalls. What are we talking about? We're talking about the world's largest pension fund reported a $4.5 billion loss for the quarter. Which pension fund is that? That would be Japan's state pension fund. The movie is getting good. People are significantly underestimating the monetary mess in Japan, and this is spreading out worldwide. There has been no serious stopping of the contagion here that is spreading worldwide. Japan, one of many countries that find themselves in a similar position. And the problem is that this is the state pension fund for Japan, the world's largest pension fund. Okay. And then when you look back home too, we see our state, municipalities, and all of these other pension funds, they're going, they're reporting unrealized losses as well on their balance sheet. And why? Because they were buying bonds at 2 and 3%, or even less, at 0.5%, 1% return on your bonds, and now we're up to 4 and 5%. It's breaking the whole system worldwide. Continuing on, we see the economic data coming out here today to confirm that. We get the U.S. non-farm payrolls with a miss, only 150,000 jobs added. The expectation was 170,000 last quarter, and that was actually last month. We had 297,000. So this month, only 150. That's a big miss. And the U.S. unemployment rate does tick up. The expectation was another 3.8%. We tick up to 3.9%. U.S. hourly wages only grew by 0.2%, missed expectations of 0.3%. Not good. And then we did get the, what else did we get? Yesterday we got the initial jobless claims, which was up to 217,000 as well. So big miss. But what's going to be reported in the spin factor that the talking head pundits are going to put on it is that we're still adding jobs, right? The unemployment rate rose to 3.9% above expectations of 3.8. This means the U.S. economy has now added jobs for 34 consecutive months. Is the labor market finally beginning to see some weakness? Yes, absolutely. But like I said, the pundits are going to run. Oh, we've been adding jobs for 34 consecutive months. If you look between the lines, it's not good jobs. It's not full-time jobs. It's part-time, second and third jobs to make ends meet. This is a recession that we're already in. We haven't met the technical definition of a recession, but even when we do, we're going to change that definition because it offends us. It's politically incorrect, right? Don't you dare call it a recession. Now, with all of that being said, we still find another $425 million in weapons to send to Ukraine. So I guess we're not sending them cash this time around. We're going to send them $425 million in weapons. But nonetheless, let's just offload some of our assets, I guess. We don't need them. And then speaking of Ukraine and money laundering and operations of the such, Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty on all 7 charges of fraud and much more. And when we look at this, around 40% of Congress received donations from SBF and FTX that were mixed user funds. Only a few politicians returned or donated the funds. Here's the full list of everyone who has received funds from FTX and SAM. So this thing's getting unraveled, and this is the divide in the cryptocurrency space right now. On one side, you have Sam Bankman-Fried, basically the poster boy of fraud and scams in the cryptocurrency space, getting exposed, found guilty on all charges, and he just got eviscerated on the stand and in the courtroom there. He got completely exposed. And then on the other side, you have Ripple working with more banks, more central banks. They announced their 6th CBDC launched on the XRPL. And then you also see we have the HSBC tokenizing gold here today. This is the real utility for digital currencies, right? And then on the other side, we see Sam Bankman-Fried was allowed to basically become the biggest money laundering operation in the cryptocurrency space that we had. And he basically was sending money to 40% of Congress. They were all bought and paid for. But this is important right here. Boring Sleuth, one of the best sleuths in our community. And he's not just in the XRP community, he's actually just a broader truth community. And he goes by the title here, Truth Labs. Boring Sleuth is the handle. And he's directly over the target with his work. And he says, do you see what we allowed them to do? Storytelling is a magical thing. In a just society, FTX would never have been about Sam. Society is doomed if we allow one person to be the scapegoat for the largest financial crime scene in the world. According to Gerard, the primary means for avoiding total escalation came through what he calls the scapegoat mechanism, which conflict is resolved by uniting against an arbitrary other who is excluded and blamed for all the chaos. Now, this is what's being done here is Sam Bankman-Fried was the chosen puppet to be brought up to be sacrificed, right? They allowed him to get as big as he did. He was meeting with Gary, not Gary, I guess. He was meeting with the SEC. Or actually, no, he did meet with Gary Gensler, right? I forget. That was the current administration, or current regime, I should say. He was meeting with everybody, and he was sending money to everybody. And so now he's going to take the fall. The problem is, now that he's actually been, convicted as guilty, it's going to be interesting to see if he starts singing a little bit more now as he tries to reduce his sentencing, right? Because he's been found guilty. Now the pressure's on him to kind of actually flip. He's been held strong, while others, his girlfriend and others at the company, already flipped on him. And that was a big part of exposing him. He was no idiot. He was no dummy. He might not have had, much social skills, but he knew what he was doing. And they allowed it to happen. And like I said, they've chosen to, sacrifice Sam Bankman-Fried, but the operation continues going on. And that's through all the other, exchanges. And are we ever going to see those funds clawed back from Congress, right? There's a lot to unwind out of this deal. When we're not done with this story, there's going to be a lot more coming out of that. But let's continue on here, folks, into the good stuff, into the real utility. We have Navati Group Limited CEO and Managing Director Peter Cook talking about building a multi-chain network with Stellar and Ripple. And he also talks about Ripple and Stellar coming with smart contracts here soon as well. Let's take a listen in on this. Another bank working with Ripple and Stellar. Now, some of the XRP validators would say, oh, he must be talking about the Zahao ledger, right? No, we know the smart contract capabilities are going to be coming. And you got to think, when you got guys like that comparing, he's admitting the gas fees on Ethereum are laughable at best. And I mean, just an absolute joke at worst. That is not the future of finance. But once we get smart contract capabilities on Stellar and Ripple, where's the competition going to be, right? There is no competition. And so it just continues on here. Anthony Welfare announcing the number sixth CBDC on the private version of the XRPL. And actually Plow did theirs on the public version too. But let's go through this. Ripple, one of the world's leading technology companies, becomes the technology partner for the National Bank of Georgia's Digital Gel pilot project. Ripple has announced 5 pilot programs with governments and central banks in Bhutan, Palau, Montenegro, Colombia, and Hong Kong, and is in discussions with over 20 countries around the world. Massive congratulations to the team, and looking forward to delivering some exciting CBDC use cases for the National Bank of Georgia and the people of Georgia. That's what this is all about. Let's continue. HSBC becomes the first bank in the world to offer tokenized gold. This is coming in from Finextra, and I'm going to show you guys this article here. HSBC stepping in, getting it done. HSBC has unveiled a platform that uses DLT to tokenize the ownership of institutional clients' physical gold held in the bank's London vaults. HSBC creates a digital twin of an existing physical asset, specifically London gold, that is custodied in its vault. The tokenized physical gold can then be traded between HSBC and institutional investors through the bank's Evolve single dealer platform or through an API. The tokenization generates a permissioned digital representation of clients' physical gold holdings, which is integrated into HSBC's operational infrastructure, including Evolve. This provides a digital overlay for clients to see their tokenized gold trades and positions that correspond with their physical holdings. This in turn allows for an automated and therefore more efficient and cost-effective way for investors to keep track of their allocated as well as unallocated gold, says the bank. And While the Loco London Golden Bars are 400 troy ounces, one token on HSBC's gold tokenization platform is equivalent to 0.001 troy ounces. In due course, the bank says this could enable fractionalization of local London gold bars and direct investment by retail investors. Here we go, folks. Are you ready? John O'Neill, Global Head of Digital Asset Strategy Markets and Security Services, HSBC, says, quote, in addition to demand for native digital assets, we are seeing appetite for tokenization solutions that can maintain a link to specific real-world use cases such as gold. This is absolutely massive, folks, and the connections run so deep. Do not forget, this is from 2 years ago. Chris Larsen, executive chairman and co-founder at Ripple, very proud to be a part of this and helping to steer HSBC's strategy for cybersecurity and fintech innovation. This is HSBC creating a technology advisory board, and Chris Larsen is at the helm. Of course he is. Of course, Chris Larsen is at the helm. Absolutely love to see it. We're not done, though, by the way. We're not done. I was digging a little bit deeper. Stuart Alderati, funny enough, you go back on his LinkedIn, and he actually, wait, where did it go? Oh, right here. General counsel. He was the general counsel at CIT for 3 years before coming to Ripple. But then before CIT, he was at HSBC as their general counsel for 6 years. Now, funny enough, he actually was the managing counsel for 8 years at American Express. So he has just a little bit of experience representing banks and payment providers like American Express and HSBC. So the connections run absolutely deep. Still not done, though, by the way. HSBC acknowledges XRP Ledger as a game changer for cross-border payments. This is a white paper they had put out earlier this year. And in it, they acknowledge that XRP is one of the legitimate use cases and game changers for the XRPL. Now, I also pulled up this post here. This was on Facebook, funny enough. But this is HSBC subsidiary launches Ripple-powered payment system. Is XRP on deck? And this is the Saudi British bank SAAB, which is a majority owned by financial giant HSBC, has officially launched an instant cross-border payment system powered by Ripple. The Indian rupee is the first currency to be made available on the platform. The bank's deputy managing director of corporate and institutional banking, Majid Nam, says the implementation is a big win for customers as it increases the speed and transparency of cross-border transactions. SABB provides its customers with fast, safer, and more transparent cross-border services by the launch of blockchain technology through Ripple. So there you have it, folks. And this is all the connections that we've seen, or just a few that I wanted to highlight with HSBC and Ripple. Now, does it mean that Ripple was directly involved in helping HSBC tokenize gold? No, but I mean, clearly they were. Chris Larsen was brought on to the technology advisory board, so they may have very well played a role, right? Or been involved in the conversation. And it goes to show you that these banks, the incumbents, are leaning into this technology. They've been doing it behind the scenes, and they give out these little excerpts, these little blurbs of, oh, we've created a little technology board and we might do some tests. We might, try out some fun things over here. But what are they really doing? This is no joke. This is no game. And it's going much further than just the testing phases. Is now we get the roll out of tokenized gold. And funny enough, it actually comes to the institutional clients first before they bring it on to the retail. And this is where you give the already the well-offs, the haves, the rich, the elite, the institutional investors get access first. Meanwhile, retail's left in the dark. And what does retail get out of DLT technology? Well, be a good little, peasant slave, and maybe you can get some UBI credits. That's where tokenization goes for the masses and what they want to roll out with this agenda. They, tout inclusion and love for humanity and all things that are great. But what it really is you get a UBI check, you get to use CBDC, you get to, never build wealth. As side note, the IRS just restricted how much you can actually put into your 401k and how much you can put into a self-directed Roth IRA. It's an absolute joke. It's no way to build wealth, but that's the whole plan, is to keep you out of the best opportunities. They roll it out for institutional clients, right? Same thing here. We got the hype that the Bitcoin spot ETF is due to get approved here at any time. We're going to be watching that one closely, but at the end of the day, when you own the underlying assets, right? That's how we get exposure to what's being built out right now, is you just go physically take possession of that gold, of that silver, of that XRP, and we let these guys do what they do best, which is build out the products and services to allow the masses to get exposure, whether that's through a spot ETF, whether that's eventually they can get a share of some tokenized gold. That's all going to be coming down the pipeline here. But what we see here is an interesting moment in time where, like I said, the rest of the space is getting exposed for the fraud and the scam as they were, with Puppet Boy Sam Bankman-Fried kind of running the headlines. But behind the scenes, this is the confirmation that I wanted. This is the confirmation that I need on top of our community members that are starting to lose faith. You can't lose faith when you see news like this. This confirms everything that we've been talking about. Does it confirm the XRP is going to 589? No, but it confirms that the incumbent banks are interested in tokenizing gold and an internet of value, and who's there to help them do it? Ripple. It's very simple. If you appreciate the update, let's smash it on the way out. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and everything can be found at my website, ZachRector.com, including dealers for precious metals, getting the metal shipped directly to you, getting it rolled over from a 401k retirement account. Speaking of retirement accounts and how they limit your capabilities and access to good investment opportunities, thankfully, we've partnered up with someone who will help you roll over your 401k retirement account to precious metals. But on my website, you can find all of our resources, including exchanges, wallets, and much more. Appreciate all the support, all the love, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Have a happy Friday.